Well, hey there, this is Jerry with What's Broke Today, and today I've got a 2009. It's a Polaris Sportsman 500 that I'm going to take the carburetor off. We're going to clean it out. That the idle, you know, if you do get the idle, isn't very good, and just the overall performance isn't good. And this thing is just suffering from sitting. Because I don't know that it's probably been a year and a half or 2 years since this thing got regularly rode. And deer season was coming up, and he's wanting to take this deer hunting. So I'm gonna pull the carburetor off, and let's see what we can get her cleaned out and get him going. Okay, get started out. There's a hose clamp with I can use a straight bladed screwdriver and loosen on the intake going into the carburetor. Okay. And of course, I got cats here to assist. Take the couple 10mm headed bolts out that hold the air box down to the frame. Let's see if we can pick this up. Oh, I need a pair of pliers to take that hose off. Okay. Okay. Both of those out of the way, and that comes out super easy. Our fuel line. Pull it off. Hopefully it don't want to drip and leak everywhere. Okay. And then holding it on at the front here. It's got a Phillips screw on the intake boot. Or at least looks like Phillips. Might have to shine a light down in there so I can see better. Yeah, I can't really tell. But I do have a light on my camera. Yeah, it's just maybe a bad angle. There we go. We'll probably position that clamp a different direction so it's easier to tighten up when we go back together. Okay. And I have one cat here ready to help. I pull that loose, and got some kind of, oh, that's probably our pulse line for our fuel pump. Pull that loose. Okay. turn it up sideways. And there I get the, looks like a 12 on the choke. This one's better than most. This one actually has a brass fitting for the choke instead of having the typical plastic that's hard to work with. Then we can flip the carburetor the other direction. Or try to. And where the throttle cable hooks up, we got 3 Phillips screws. Or the throttle cable hooks up. Okay. Go. Sometimes it's just a matter of finding the right angle where you can get 2 things. And that is just, I can't quite turn it with my fingers. Well, that one I can, and I dropped it. But I saw where it went. Okay. We get the 3rd screw off there and our cover. And I'm actually on the wrong side for what I'm doing right now, pulling that throttle loose. Okay. Okay, and once it's just hard to see, but you got to pull the cable goes through this brass thing, and then the little barrel on the end of it goes in that, and then down in the hole. Then once we get that, then we can unscrew the cable and pull it out. And of course, out comes our carburetor. And the last thing on the bottom is actually the overflow. So let's take this out and let's take it apart and look inside. Okay. Now this one only has 2 screws holding the bowl on, which is a little bit unusual. All right, get one out. Second one, and then not looking too pretty in there. That doesn't look too bad. What are you doing, Ash? Bet you she's wanting to get up here and help her pawpaw. Because she got her claw in my leg. That makes me want to check our fuel pump because our carburetor being dry. All right. Well, I think let's pull our pilot or low speed mixture out because there's half, turn, and a quarter. Turn and 1/4. I'm going to take this out, and I have to reset this when I put it back together because it turns so easy. It already backed itself off some, but that isn't that big a deal. See what our needle valve looks like. Got some wear, but don't look too terribly bad. Oh, there we go. She was looking for the perfect opportunity to jump up there. Because I don't know, that really don't need cleaning. Now that O-ring looks extremely compressed and not in very good shape. Don't look too bad. That is all, all kinds of crud in it. Yeah, that's what I was having trouble with this. That little pin that was supposed to keep it from rotating has backed out a little. It's got a little brass pin and lines up with that slot. So when I was trying to take the jet out, that's why this thing was turning, was because that was pushed out a little. So yeah, let me run all this through the ultrasonic cleaner and see if I got an O-ring similar to that. Because if not, I'll definitely have to order a kit, but I could have a kit somewhere that has that O-ring in it. So we're back at our carburetor, getting ready to go back together, and just kind of looking things over. And I run it all through the ultrasonic cleaner, and I think everything turned out really well. That all looks good. I got my carburetor kit, and this one came from All Balls. Uh, All Balls Racing. It's a kit 261012. Things I noticed in my kit is, of course, my bowl gasket. The one I got has these extra little ears. Well, I'm going to take a razor blade, have to cut them off because these little pieces right in here won't work because I didn't have them to begin with. I don't think I'm going to use the jets that came in the kit. Just really isn't nothing wrong with what I got, even though that looks the same. The one thing with my idle problem, this little jet, I can't see through it very well. I get a little bit of light, and I have this thing that, we are talking, has a micro drill bit in it. But I was told, because I bought these at an auction, I was told these were used for cleaning orifices in furnaces. So, that is so small it's hard to even see to hit the hole, but the smallest one will go through there, and that does look a little bit better. And we'll come up one more size and see if it will fit. And it will not, because that's a thing we don't. These are literally look like drill bits. Even these little tiny ones. Because it won't go through that new one either, and I don't want to drill that hole out. So Run that through and make sure I clean it good. And we'll drop that back down in the hole and tighten it up. And I've got my low speed jet, which I took this out before I put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. And before I took it out, I turned it all the way in to see how far open it was, which was a 1 1/4 turns. So half, 1 1/4. Okay, so we're not going to use that. 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 Now it came with a new seat for my needle valve, but as you can see, the one that came in the kit, cat, that's your claws are sharp. Not going to use it because I don't think it's going to work because it sticks up too high. That just shows you where these kits you get a lot of times just flat don't work. So the next thing we want to do is put this back in, and that was part of what I think was wrong was this O-ring that went down here was bad. So the kit came with the new O-ring, which as soon as I flipped it over fell off. And of course Ash is actually wanting to climb up and get up on my cart here where I'm working. So but I'm going to get that on there, put that down through there, and then that little pin that this lines up points that way. I'm going to, oh shit. Excuse the cat, but I really don't want her up there. And I can push that all the way down through, and it's got the little collar that goes over. And all I did to drive that pin back in was my Phillips screwdriver and use my pliers and like a hammer. I needed to drive it in, but I didn't want to drive it in too far. So, but we got that back in, and Cat, you're not being much help when you're up there on my table. She wants attention. She don't like being left out. Okay, Ash, time to get down. Come on. No, leave it. Leave it. Yep, Cat, you gotta leave it. Okay. She wants to sit in front of the camera. All right, so let me grab a razor blade and let's trim that bowl gasket. We're here, we could put our new, and still got some crud down in that hole. Got to watch while she's up there, make sure she don't knock anything off I need. Okay, I use my wire brush and clean that little bowl thing out. Might be just a tad bit more something down in the bottom. Get down. Get down. Time to get down. There you go. Come on, get down. Don't knock anything off. Good girl. Okay. Now we can put our O-ring on there and then screw this into the bottom of the bowl. Here I can go ahead and put this back on. and get it out of the way so it's not laying here. And this, of course, only goes in one way. Got to make sure the pin hits the hole down in there. And of course, look that diaphragm over good while you got it out, just to make sure there aren't any holes in it. Because this won't run very good. In case you see my other video on the Lakota, well, that diaphragm's still laying there because that was just 2 days ago that I worked on it. So this, okay, tighten that up. Then we can set that upside down. Let's take our float. And of course, compare your new and your old needle valve. Make sure they look the same. And hook that little arm over the tab, and of course put it in the right direction. And our hinge pin. And even though this has kind of a angled bowl on it, where it, fits on there at it's the right direction, fits on there at an angle, we really want it square and level with the body instead of being square with the opening. I can't knock my gasket off, but I'm going to take my good knife. I'm just going to come inside here and clip that little ear off. I wanted a razor blade, but I didn't have one handy, so let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so that looks good. Line that up. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's put this back in here. I have to go look at the video and see, make sure I get the angle right on my adjuster thing, but I think that can come like that, and that can go like that. So we've got that roughly done. Okay, don't need that, don't need that. I very rarely do I change out that pin. I mean, this is mainly if you're, if you look at it, it's got a whole bunch of notches. If you're doing modifications to to it, you might use it. Comes with E-clip to go in that. Um, Not sure what this O-ring was for, because it's too big to go on the choke, so we don't need that. Have no idea where this little goofy thing goes. I did not see anything that small that I could remove, because there's some most tiny like that in here, but I don't see where you could even put a screwdriver on those and take them out. And the two bottom holes are plugged. That's plugged, so I don't know, but most of these kits come with extra things that I don't need, so we just don't worry about and don't use them. Okay, so now we're ready to take this and put it back on the Polaris, fire it up, and see how it runs. All right, to go back on, I think I'm going to start out with, since it's easy to do first, just hook the choke back up, put the it back in there. Okay, let me get that in there. We can get this kind of down in here, turned around. I grab that throttle cable, or attempt to. Like that, push through the hole. I'm going to reach in here and grab that throttle cable so I can screw it into the carburetor body. And you can see I came back here to work. My assistants followed me. Okay, let's tighten that up. And now this is the part of that's a pain in the butt. We got to get the cable, because that's the part that's going to be kind of a pain in the rear, because the bullet that's on the end of that cable has got to end up in that hole in this brass piece. So I grab the cable and get it pulled up here on top. And I'll just take it, put the cable in the slot, and get the little bullet end in the hole. Okay. And then I can come down here and open the throttle up, push that down in the hole, or attempt to. Then let off, and then just come up here. Make sure I got some free play, and it goes wide open throttle. Where that goes up. There we go. Here's our cover. Let's pull the cover O-ring and put it back on the carburetor in the groove, because it come loose from the cover partially, so didn't line back up. But just gotta get that down in the groove as best you can. That's just gonna seal dirt and moisture out. Get stuck down in there and can get this cover over it, push down, and just keep pressure. I can put all these screws in. Hi, Ash. She says, Papa needs help. Okay. Now I do is just get that up and twist it around. And push it back up on there. Get my fuel line and pull it up. That down there. Now I'm going to come around to this side so I can reach through here and tighten the clamp holding the carburetor to the intake. Okay, I got the clamp over there hooked up, and then take my hose here that goes onto the side of the carburetor and get it fished down through there somehow. I don't remember exactly how it was routed, but I thought I was going to take the carburetor loose to plug that hose on, but forgot I had access to reach through here and get to it, because that's also where you get access to change the spark plug. So I pulled it out and stuck a new one in just for the heck of it. And then let's crank this over and see if she'll fire up, because like I say, there's no gas in the carburetor, so it may take a little bit. Turn that idle speed up a little. If I can get my hand in there. All right. So with that good luck, let's stick our air box back up in here. Put the bolts down there. That like that. Through there. That on. And wish everything had a carburetor that was actually as easy to remove as that one was. Now time to take out and take her for a drive. Well, I got the Polaris up and running, idling good. That might need to turn the idle down just a little, but for now it's okay, that it sounds good. Yeah, I went out and made a couple laps in the back with it, and everything seemed to work good. That Hey, I appreciate you watching this video on getting the carburetor on the Polaris cleaned up and going good. That I'll say I'm about going to call him up so I can send this thing back home. That I do appreciate you watching. That I always like those thumbs up for the likes. Thanks for all those comments. And hey, if you're not a subscriber, better join on in, because I'll tell them what else you're going to see on What's Broke Today. Thank you.